Historically, the Empire has struggled somewhat against the Lizardmen, even though they shared a DLC way back in the day that certainly gave Empire some tools, and Empire, on paper at least, with armor-piercing missiles and other things, can do quite well here, but a few factors have led to this matchup, in my opinion, being historically Lizardmen favored. Although I expect that will likely change with the release of Thrones of Decay, which will give, of course, the Empire some new toys to play with. But for this replay here, let's take a look. This one's from Calamity, who is getting his Mazdamundi currently blasted by a Luminarch, which is a tool the Empire certainly has. Okay, sorry about that, but yeah, Skink Skirmishers mixed with Skink Cohort Jabs in the front line, so a lot of poison missiles immediately as these Empire Knights are going to try and hit out and get some cheeky early charges. Mazdamundi, we've got some Feral Cold Ones way in the back, backing him up, and Ripperdactyls up in the sky, which is definitely a scary, fast AP unit, which is one of the things that makes Lizardmen so good in this matchup. We don't see any Cold One Riders here, but they are definitely a factor in this matchup as well. Generally, Empire Cavalry trades terribly in this matchup, which is certainly something that kind of colors perceptions here. Absolutely. Pigman, though, rocking that Luminarch, is going to try and get some high-value blasts here, as he's got some Empire Knights as well. Looks like, yeah, 3 of them, some grenade launchers, handgunners, Spearmen, and the Sigmar's Sons as well. 1 other Swordsman. Let's get things rolling as the Empire Knights and Boris the Todd are going to punch forth and attack, but we do see a nice little counterattack from the Feral Cold Ones here, which is saturating through the back of the Skinks. They're not really going to take too many hits, but they're also not going to do an insane amount of damage. But yeah, quick hit and run charge there is enough to devastate those Skink Skirmishers as the Empire Knights mostly get pretty good value. This one over on the far side, it does get temporarily forgotten about by Pigman, though, and is going to pay a price by Mazdamundi and lots of other AP units, including Quasadon Hunters, which are straight up elite anti-large AP and very much designed to murder the Empire Knights. So that's great. Yeah, we see some damage definitely on both sides, but the handgunners are going to start to focus fire on some of those Rippers. Great high-value target that they can shred quite quickly. The other Rippers, though, are going to close the gap during this time. Let's see if they swoop down onto handguns, or no, it looks like they're actually going to go after the Outriders, a little bit more of a higher value target. Leave the handguns perhaps to some of these other troops, as the Quasadon Hunters are mostly safe. They're going to be the ones to now swoop down, and we've got a banishment from Mazdamundi also, so not kind of all hands on deck. Big full court press on those handguns to shut them down. Nice timing to get everything all together. And we've also got some Feral Cold Ones on the follow-up as well to provide some extra bodies in here for when things route. Try and shoot those gaps, get in this backline position here. Beautiful positioning from the Skink Skirmishers as well to find some gaps in here to shoot in at those Outrider grenade launchers. We're just going to get shredded by that Skink Skirmisher fire. Extremely cost-effective. The Javelins also getting some good value, actually using their Javelins before moving into melee combat. Doing their best adorable little Roman legionary impressions. You know, they're just little lizard bros. Empire Knights charging in here, trying to spring Tempelhof out of the trap laid by the Lizardmen here. And it does look like they're going to be able to push back Rippers and whatnot. Another wave of Rippers comes in, but they're mostly blocked by the Empire Knights. Let's see. Yeah, Mazdamundi getting spear leeched and blasted by the Tempelhof Luminarch is definitely a huge problem for the Lizardman. If he goes down, that's an immensely high-value target that's going to be lost. But let's see here if the Skinks can hold up their end of the bargain, protect their giant Slon Bro, and shut down these AP missiles. Handgunners forced to fire up close and personal against just some cheap Skinks. Excellent use of the Skinks here. Their fast speed also means that the Empire line troops have absolutely no chance of escape whatsoever. Like, handguns are going to get run down by Skinks 10 out of 10 times, so Mazdamundi can hide in the woods? Are you serious? Oh yeah, I guess he's not on Slock. I actually forgot he's not on Slock. He's just on the chair here, which is great, because then he actually can hide in the woods and not be shot too much by the Tempelhof Luminarch, which has itself escaped here. Yep, you see that hidden icon pop back up on Lord Mazdamundi, so the Tempelhof forced to choose other targets. Got some Rippers out here on the side, chasing some routing handguns. Looks like a juicy target for them to fire at. I don't know, might have some line of sight issues though, because they are chasing the handgunners, weirdly enough. Shield of the Old Ones also being popped here on these Feral Cold Ones, and Skinks as they fight in the front line. The thing about Skinks, I mean, they're fast. Their stats are not all that fantastic though, so in a more sustained fight against like Empire State troops, which are I would say, very decent quality, sort of low-tier troops. They're definitely going to struggle against them, given their better stats, but we'll see. Mazdamundi still trying to stay hidden for the most part. Boris doing his best scouting to try and find him, as the Deathcaster also moves in. Yeah, Boris could potentially be a problem in the late game here as well. I'm not really seeing a lot for Lizardmen's build that could really threaten Boris. Maybe this one unit of Rippers that's still reasonably healthy, trying to finish off the Templehof Luminarch. We're also here taking some damage against the Empire Knights. Skink Skirmishers, there's a decent amount of them alive, and they have enough ammunition. Maybe they could kill Boris. It's a big maybe, though. It's a big ask for them, considering they're not the best AP missiles. It's really just about the volume that's remaining, but using the Skink Skirmishers to actually chase the Templehof Luminarch, I love that. To be honest, another banishment there from Mazdamundi. Didn't want to risk popping it anywhere where he could damage his own Skinks, as he's going to need all of them alive. So just throws it out at those Empire Knights and is able to actually shatter them. Likewise, I think he's going to be able to actually shatter the Templehof Luminarch here as the Rippers kind of close the gap. But likewise, Mazdamundi is about to go down here as well. So, bit of a mixed bag. Oh, does he actually have Apotheosis? Heal himself? I assume he does. Yep, I assume he's been popping it this whole time. There's another pop there. It's hanging around about 1,000 HP, but will it be enough? Boris is definitely pressing his advantage here. He's got all his buffs and everything, and the debuffs, and just a massive advantage here, to be honest. But support for the Lizardmen's incoming. They're able to kind of awkwardly body block. Boris misses a few of his attack animations, or doesn't proc them, and then gets distracted. So Mazdamundi might have just narrowly survived defeat there. Let's see. The Lizardmen, besides Boris, I mean, the battlefield situation across the map is looking pretty good, other than the heroes. The lords. But, yeah, I mean, the Templehof's been dealt with, all the Empire infantry is scattered and tattered, and net on Boris as he tries to pull away, let the Rippers and remaining units just get some free damage on him. Griffins absolutely rely on their charge bonus. It's really their best stat. So, being able to limit his charge bonus significantly is a big part of success against Boris here as his leadership starts to falter just ever so slightly. And he's going to be doing some damage back, but, I mean, it's a lot. The Rippers also being in here is critical. They're going to be the ones actually getting some chunk damage. And one more Feral Cold one also quite healthy, and more importantly, active, whereas Boris is exhausted, right? That lack of vigor is going to be super important in a late game grind like this. Let's see if Boris can disentangle himself, but he might be out of support troops completely. Yeah, it's just these handful of remaining Empire infantry to the left. So they're going to route here to the Skinks in the woods, as Mazdamundi continues to just juke Boris, cut those floating moves on him, and allow his AP troops to try and get any hits they can here. Let's see. Oh yeah, Skink Skirmisher's getting a little bit of hits also. Feral Cold One's getting a chomp here, a chomp there, a little tail swipe. Another net on Boris, pin him in place so that all these units can fight him. Ooh, the terror, though, kicks in for a few of the Skinks immediately on the net going down, which is a little bit painful, but the Feral Cold Ones, at least, are going to get in here and saturate, get a nice little surround, get some attacks in. Boris fights back. A few remaining Rippers on a beautiful rear charge there. Boris is very quickly approaching his healing cap as he just struggles in this more sustained fight. Let's fast forward as this grind ensues, and Boris is eventually, inevitably, ground down. So that's a nice one from Calamity, I have to say. Nice wide stack, all hands on deck Lizardmen build. Managed to survive a nice snipe attempt from the Templehof Luminarch on Mazdamundi, who hardly gets any value. Rare to see in a win, but the line troops, the Skinks, were really what did it in this replay. Skink Skirmishers in particular, 900 value is extremely cost effective. The Ripperdactyls also contributing some nice value across the field, at least the two of them. The other two getting shredded. But that's why you bring a bunch, so that you still have some left. Feral Cold One's also trading extremely cost effectively, so this really is just a great showcase of how low-tier Lizardmen units can trade well when used appropriately. Pigman here kind of, yeah, definitely had some good tools and had some good plays, but ultimately just got outlasted by the Lizardmen's numbers. And yeah, the Empire Knights, that initial charge was quite good, but then some of the power pieces, like the Temple of Luminarch, almost pays for itself. Again, not quite. If it had been able to finish off Mazda Mundi, that probably turns into a mass chain route of everything else, terror route for Boris, but because it wasn't, it was he was able to sustain and keep those skinks going through the late game there. The Outriders grenade launchers also generally a very good unit. I don't really like them in this matchup though because they're so squishy to missiles, and Lizardmen have like flying javelins everywhere, so poison javelins I should say, flying everywhere, and it's quite tough, at least for me. I don't really find that I have the micro to help them survive, especially because the cavalry situation in this matchup is really quite poor. So I don't know. I'd probably go with war wagons also, though. I mean, they can also get killed like old ones, so it's tricky for the Empire. Tricky, for sure. Hopefully it improves with the release of Thrones of Decay, but that's for the future. For today, that's all. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.